I'm Verity.
I'm Nana Ponsa.
I'm Bernard.
I'm a tongue-speaking,
church-going,
Bible-believing Christian.
But you know what? I also believe in our God-given intellect and talent.
And so, to gain an edge in our corporate career,
business, and family life,
we need to be sharpened spiritually and physically because it's a crazy jungle out there.
This is why I recommend to you the Empower 2022 conference.
It's enlightening,
It's enriching,
it's engaging.
and it's exciting.
Thank me later.
Is always an abomination. And I've always been saying that whatever you know today is not all that you need to know. And it's very important that we get hungry for knowledge. So today we have here Dr. Bernard. Dr. Bernard is not a stranger to this house. I've known him close to 30 years now. And he's one of the people I can call as a brother. and not only as a brother, but somebody that is very astute. In your life, you must have people who are great thinkers. In your life, you must have people who are enablers, and it's very, very key. So I'm just going to let him come on board quickly and start teaching. And I pray that you will be empowered, you receive something. So after this video introduction, the next person you will see is Dr. Bernard Otopa Appiah.
Dr. Bernard Appiah is the Executive Director of Drobek UK, a management consulting firm, and also Founding Director of Francis Bernard, a property development company in UK. He's a lecturer and an Associate Programs Manager of Undergraduate Business and Law at the University of Sunderland in London. He earned a BA Honours from the University of Cape Coast, Master of Theology from the University of Edinburgh, MBA from the University of Leicester, and PhD from the University of Birmingham, a postgraduate certificate in academic practice from the University of Sunderland. Dr. Bernard is also a fellow of the Chartered Managers Institute, Higher Education Authority, and member of Institute of Management and Leadership. He has published in reputable peer-reviewed journals. He also writes for popular reading, having authored a number of books. Dr. Bernard Appiah is currently the senior pastor of the Life Word Center, Milton Keynes, UK, and he has traveled extensively with the Word of God to parts of the USA, Africa, Europe, and Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking to us today is the astute management consultant, Dr. Bernard Appiah. Let's welcome him with a standing ovation and a thunderous hand clap.
Good evening. It's a joy to be here once again. Can we kindly take our seat? And thank you all for coming. We want to give praise to God for the opportunity to be here. I'm not taking it for granted that you found the time to be here with us. And my goal this evening is to ensure that you get something out of this. I'm not just going to teach. I'm going to give you information that I believe will be useful, practical, and applicable, directly applicable to your career and specifically your business. So I want you to relax, but I would want you to listen attentively. The slides will be on the screen, and if you can, take down some notes. I would also make the slides available for your island. You have a platform, so you can actually access it after the meeting. But I want you to fasten your seat belt because I'm going to give you some set of information which can be transformed into a set of skills that I believe would help you to achieve your goals and your objectives as far as your business and your career is concerned. I would want to thank Pastor Eric for this opportunity to be here with you and also to be a blessing to you. I share an equal passion like Pastor Eric does. I believe that we are not only supposed to be spiritual, but we are also supposed to be very, very astute in the marketplace and reign in the marketplace as it is, have total control. Sometimes you realize that if we knew what we were doing and understand the privileges that we have in the marketplace and really had the skill it took to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that we actually met with, then I believe that we would have done much more, not just for ourselves, but making an impact on the landscape of Christianity across board. And so today I'll be dealing with managing yourself and business through crisis. I think that there is no question about the fact that I do go on Ghana Web almost every day. I read news. Some of them are satiric in nature. Others are quite serious. But I think that over a while, over some time now, probably from the beginning of the year, as far as probably February, the whole issue has been on to do or not to implement, to sign or not to sign, to pass or not to pass e-levy, and all its concomitant problems and challenges that brought. I know that sometimes we are easily polarized with politics, so we don't even see things we are supposed to see, whether it's good or bad. We easily take sides before we actually think of whether the sides we have taken is right or wrong. So I'm going to do my best to steer away from anything that is politics. Obviously, I don't have a vote in Ghana. I'm not registered, but I'm a Ghanaian. So there are a lot of things that happen that I follow. I have my own opinion about them, but I'm going to do very well not to go into any of those, but present you with sets of information, knowledge that I believe will be very much applicable as far as managing yourself in a crisis is concerned. Now, Ghana may seem to have an economic crisis now, and I can tell you that Ghana is not the only country around the world at this time, in this post-pandemic era, that has economic crisis. In the UK where I live, the Institute of Fiscal Studies have projected that by the end of the year, the UK will enter into a double-digit inflation. Now, the inflation rate is around 8-point-something%, which is quite high. According to them, it's very high. For a very long time to come, they haven't experienced that kind of inflation. So Ghana is not alone. Everywhere is having their own kind of challenges one way or the other. But in spite of all that, when the challenges come, there must be a set of principles that we can actually follow in order to get ourselves out. Now, for those of us who may not have our own businesses or run businesses, you may be following a particular career path, but there are challenges that can actually derail your career trajectory just because of some of the things that you face along the line. So managing yourself and business through crisis. All right. So one of the things that we have to understand that in the life cycle of a person, a career, business, or economy, there's usually a time of crisis at one point or the other. Now, those who read economic history will tell you that after every 10 to 20 years cycle, there is always a recession some point in the world. World economies reset to zero and have to start again. There are reasons for that, but I'm not going to share it here because one of the things I was telling Pastor Eric, I had a privilege to do a bit of extensive reading and lecturing on international investments. And one of the things that I realized that everything around us in this world, apart from the Word of God, is artificial. And for me, who believe in the Word of God, trained in the Word of God, when I see these things, it strengthens my faith. Because everything is artificial. People sit somewhere and set inflation rate. They sit somewhere and set exchange rate. They sit so everything is man-made, apart from God's Word. If you don't know, I mean, even why do we have the dollar as, there's something we call the gold standard? Why did they come about? You may hear in the news sometimes when people are having economic discussion, they'll talk about the Bretton Woods institutions and all that. How did that come about? It was artificial. President Nixon set up that meeting in Bretton Woods in the USA and said, we'll use the gold as the standard. So every country that has a lot of gold reserves, and at the time it was America that had a lot of gold reserves. So they used the dollar as their exchange rate and currency around the world for exchange and all that. Now it has shifted because America no longer has the largest gold. So China has now, and China is pushing that they will use their currency. There are a whole lot of politics. All these things around us, all that I'm trying to let you know is that everything is artificial apart from the Word of God. Everything is artificial. So crisis as it is can be a time of growth or collapse, and it all depends on how it is managed. Three things that I want us to look at generally is that by the end of this particular presentation, we'll be able to identify the behaviors that are necessary to master a crisis, both on the level of personal development, on the level of business, and then also to be able to find ways of strengthening your business in an economic downturn like we may be experiencing in Ghana and other parts of the world, and also to be able to look at some few examples of businesses that have been able to overcome economic crisis of their own. All right. So I will share with you something that becomes the fundamental of what I want to talk about. The fact that the survival of every career or business is dependent on the internal strength that that career builds and that business builds, and not so much of the external pressures. And what I mean is that usually when the internal environment of a business is very strong, the external pressures and the external environmental factors cannot paralyze it. So when an economy is very, very strong, when your business has a very strong position in the market or on the market, it is difficult for the wider economic factors to crash it or to paralyze it altogether. You see, you can be presented with the same external environmental factors, and yet you realize that in the same situation of crisis, there are some people and some business that manage better and make the most out of that same crisis. Now, one of the things I promised I will steer away from anything politics, but one of the things that I laughed, and I keep laughing, is that sometimes you see on TV these politicians are saying, levy, yes, levy, no. Do you know that some of them, in spite of all the noise, they are making money by the day and by the hour? And they will galvanize people to go and be making noise about it. No levy, demonstration. Whilst people are sweating in the sun making demonstrations, some people are making money. And I'm going to give you a statistic that will blow your mind. Check this out. In 2020, the kind of pandemic that the world experienced has never happened before. In terms of its economic weight, it has never happened before. But check what happened. In 2020, according to Credit Suisse, the number of millionaires increased by 5.2 million, which brought the total number of millionaires to 56.1 million. I'm not exaggerating this. You can cross-check this with Credit Suisse. This is well-documented data. In 2020, when there was a shutdown, everybody was in their homes. Millionaires were increasing. 5.2 million people became millionaires. In 2020, 1% of all adults worldwide became millionaires for the first time. When people were complaining, we are losing our jobs. What is this pandemic? We will put on masks. We won't put on masks. People were making money. Businesses were making money. The number of ultra high net worth individuals, that is people who have $30 million and in excess in investment, increased by 24%. And it is the fastest rate since 2003. And you would think there's an economic downturn. Everything is shut down. The airports have been closed. Borders have been closed. But people were making money. The same environmental factors that were shutting down businesses, that were keeping people in closed doors, people were making money. People were becoming millionaires. The world's richest, that is the billionaires, saw their wealth climb by 27.5%. From 7.9 trillion to 10.2 trillion. 2020, in the middle of pandemic. The number of billionaires hit a new high from previously 2,158 to 2,189, an increase of 31 people, or 31 people became billionaires for the first time in 2020. So the point that I'm making is that if your internal mechanisms are strong, it doesn't matter the external environmental factors, you can still survive it. You wouldn't have to collapse. And that is the problem. Most of us don't build. Look at the map or the graph we have on the screen right now. In 2020, and this is also from Credit Suisse, whilst we were in lockdown, wealth per adult in the countries in the blue on the right, there were increases in wealth. In Switzerland, for instance, there was an addition of $65,000 of wealth added to just general across the country. I won't go so much into that, but you can see it on the screen. Those on the left lost some money, those that are in the red. What you see on the screen here is how the wealth grew. So in technology, wealth grew by 566%. It's obvious because we're all indoors, we're using internet and buying stuff we didn't even need and just ordering, just retail therapy, just ordering, buying stuff. Whilst we're buying, we're making other people rich. Then in the health industry, it's obvious. People were selling PPEs and medicines, 548%. In the industrials, 377. Real estate, 340. You think people are at home, so people are enjoying. No one is buying houses. People were buying houses. In retail, 300%. In financial services, 229%. And the media, 204%. There is not even one that is 100%. Now, the point that I'm trying to tell you here is that we may all be presented with the same kind of economic downturn, economic situation, but what is all dependent on your locus of control. And I'm going to explain what the locus of control is as one of the behaviors that we need to develop as part of building the internal mechanism to withstand external environmental factors in order to make it in difficult times. So, in terms of the behavior, I'm going to give you two sets of behaviors. One for personal development and one for dealing with business development. Now, in terms of personal development, the first behavior that you need to develop has to do with switching your locus of control. When we talk about locus of control, it refers to how much a person feels or how much control a person feels they have of their own behavior. And there are two kinds of locus of control. We have the internal locus of control and we have the external locus of control. Internal locus of control believe that whatever they are in life is as a result of their choices, their decisions, their thinking patterns, and their mental framework that has produced what is around them. So, more or less, they are a product of their own doing, their actions, decisions, choices, and so on. Then those that have the external locus of control are those who feel helpless. They feel that wherever they are is as a result of everything happening to them. And sometimes, I dare say, and I know I'm on social media, I dare say that a lot of us Ghanaians think like that. We are what my business is not having because the government is not fixing this, because the government is not doing it. But do you know that right here in Ghana, once you are complaining, government is not fixing, the government has not done, the government, people are still making money. And it is in the interest of those who are making the money to keep watching you making noise. Because those who make noise are not the ones who count the money. Those who keep quiet and watch and strategize are the ones who make the money and count money. When you go to the bank, do you see a lot of people making noise? You don't see a lot of people making noise. When they are even counting the money, when they are tired, they put in the money counter. It's done. You find people who make the most noise where? Around the trotro stations. That's the truth. That is the truth. So we need to be able to come to that place to understand what kind of locus of control that we have. Are you thinking that you are a product of everything that is happening within your external environment? Oh, this is not working. That is why this is like that. If this should have, even sometimes when we bring it personal, some people, oh, I am what I am because my father died early, my mother died early. But when after your mother died, your father died, what have you been able to do? We need to be able to come to that place, a behavior that must shift. We need to switch our locus of control. Because having the right locus of control will determine whether you build that internal mechanism that strengthens you and makes it possible for you to withstand environmental pressures that has the potential to make you collapse and fold up. Whether it's with your career or whether it's with your business. Second behavior that you need to develop has to do with what we call, or I call, self-efficacy. Now, when I talk about self-efficacy, I'm talking about the belief in your own abilities. And this was a research that was undertaken and propounded by a man called Albert Bandura. For those of you who have studied psychology, might have come across this man. He did a lot of behavioral studies in psychology. So when you do psychology of education, you find him. In management, he is there. If you do a bit of research, you find what I'm talking about. He believed that self-efficacy is the belief in one's own ability to succeed in specific situations or to accomplish specific tasks. So your level of self-efficacy, whether high or low, simply means whether you have high belief in yourself or low belief in yourself. And I'm going to show you some behavioral patterns of people who have high self-efficacy and those who have high or low self-efficacy. Now, for those that have high self-efficacy, they are the type that they always say, I can do this thing. Try me. Give me the opportunity, I'll do it. Even if you present the thing to them, they can't do it. They will try and find a way to do it. And these are the type of behavior they exhibit. They are very active. They select best opportunities. They avoid or neutralize obstacles. They set goals. They plan, they prepare, they practice. They try hard and persevere. They learn from setbacks. They visualize success and they go for it. Let's check out on those with low self-efficacy. They are the type that says that I know I can't do it. Even if you give me all the tools, I will still fail. I can't do it. They are passive. They avoid difficult tasks. They develop low aspirations of themselves and have low commitment to anything. They don't even try and make a weak effort. They quit or become discouraged when the going gets tough. They worry. They experience stress. They become depressed. And they are always thinking about excuses to make for failure. Now, having said this, if you own a business and you have people that you work with, and you realize that you have people within your team who have very low self-efficacy, and you want to help them to develop quite a moderate or optimum self-efficacy in order to make them more functional and contribute to the development of your business, then you as a manager has a responsibility that you need to follow. And a few of them, design the jobs you give to them in a way that it will boost their confidence to believe in themselves. If you give people who already don't believe they can do anything, too much difficult work to do, they won't do it. Or they will not do it well. And in the end, what happens? They don't achieve anything. And they will still, because they fail at it, they will still believe that they can't do anything. Train them. Develop them. Give them the skills they need to be able to do or be better at what they do than before. Set them goals. Help them to be able to say, by the end of the week, this is my target, and I've been able to achieve it. And incrementally, it will boost their confidence and belief in themselves, and they will be able to do so much. Now, I want us to look at some of the behaviors that we need to develop for business development. Behavior 1, decide with speed over precision. Now, there are people who are generally perfectionists. Before they take any step, they want to make sure the sky is clear. There is no forecast of any storm that is coming. They want to make sure that they have crossed their T's, dotted their I's. They are just on point. But when you are dealing with situations in crisis times, you don't need all that. What you need is speed, because speed may be of essence as to whether the business fails, your career fails, or survives. It is not more about the precision as to what you do. I mean, if you are probably in your career, you want to probably change course, you want to move on to something else, you are probably in your mid-50s, you are thinking about, and you are going to school, and I'm not condoning you not learning or you not doing well, but you are thinking about getting A, and so you get 1C, and it dampens your spirit, it weakens your resolve, and for months you are unable to get over that paper that you got C in order to move on to do the better with the others. And by the time you realize, you've carried over that anxiety and worry onto the next examination, onto the next assignment, and then by the time you realize, everything is falling apart. You realize that at your age, what you need at that point is not AAA. All you need is to pass, get a certificate, be able to transit from where you are to another place. You don't need someone who is much younger, who may be thinking of doing a master's, doing a PhD, needs the A at that, because they are younger. They may need that certificate for longer. You look at your age, at that point, you need that certificate probably for just one opening in order to put your feet there and get some things accomplished. You don't need everything that hasn't got to be perfect and fall in place. And sometimes in business it's the same. You don't need to wait till all the conditions are right, all the external environmental factors, inflation is right, interest rate is right, exchange rate is right, then you make your move and you say that now everything is going to be. No, sometimes you just have to move as quick as possible. The second thing that we have to look at is to also be able to adapt boldly and quickly. Sometimes when things are not working, you have to throw away the playbook of yesterday. There are a lot of things that if you did probably pre-pandemic and you were a businessman or a businesswoman, you realize that now if you do it, it won't work. Pre-pandemic, or probably a few years before then, people were not selling on Instagram. Instagram was for just pictures, showing off your clothes, and then telling friends the new shoes you've bought and all that. But now people are doing business on Instagram. You can advertise on Instagram. So if you realize that even advertising in newspapers these days is not in vogue. How many people read newspapers? If I ask you to raise up your hand right now, if you have read today's newspaper, whether it's Mirror, I don't know whether they still print Spectator, but Mirror, Spectator, Graphic, or whatever it is, do they still print PMP? I am sure you won't get a lot of people, because you can get all the information. I don't remember the last time I bought a newspaper, because I have a ping on my phone where every breaking news from CNN, from Daily Mail, from Telegraph in London, it just comes ping, and I click breaking news. I read it, finish. I put the device somewhere. I don't have the time to go and then the obituaries, then all the adverts and the change of names. Who has the time to do all those things these days? Nobody has the time to do those things. So if you use the playbook of yesterday, I'm doing a business, I just want to have a big signboard and an illuminated signboard in front of me. When people are passing by, they'll see. And you sit in that office, you sit in that shop, you will sit down to become a statue. Because your colleagues may be advertising on Instagram, wearing their clothes by themselves and turning around and showing all parts. And people will be ordering and be giving the stuff to dispatch riders to take to them in their homes and collect their money and bring it back to them. And you will sell nothing. So you have to adapt. When the time changes, you need to also make sure you change to go with it in order to make impact. You also have to reliably deliver. Economic downturn, difficult situations does not mean diluted service. Doesn't mean diluted product. It doesn't mean diluted commitment to your career. Things may be difficult, but sometimes you see, it's in difficult times that we can actually know the real you. Your bosses will know whether you really mean to do this career and succeed at what you do, or even your business, whether it succeeds or not. It is often said that you can only get the flavor of tea when the tea bag is put in hot water. So good, and I'll give you examples of organizations that in spite of economic downturn, they were still able to make it and make it big. And I've shown you some statistics based on economies and all that, right? But I'll show you a bit more specific to how certain organizations in the midst of economic downturn were able to turn their businesses around and make a lot of money. But you have to be reliable in delivering, and you have to set yourself priorities. Some will set themselves what we call the key performance indicators to be able to identify whether they are actually performing based on their own metrics. You're a small business. You don't need all these big words. Set yourself. Have a book. Write it down. This week I want to be able to sell 10 cloths, 10 shoes, 10 days, and then mark against it how am I going to achieve it? Maybe I need to get 3 dispatch riders. Maybe I need to put on this advert, and then just do it. And then when you are done, because they are all measurable, you'll be able to tell whether indeed you were able to do this, do that, or you were not able to do them as it is. Again, engage your team. If you have, especially you have a business and you work with people, it can even be a family business where the people you work with are from the family. You need to engage with them. Take a personal interest in the lives of those people. Sometimes the reason why, one of the things that I realize it's a cultural thing, is that when someone owns a business and employs people and is working with them, usually we don't take care of our workers. We see them as, I pay you, you do what I ask you to do, just do the job. But it's not supposed to be like that, because sometimes when you treat these people very well, in the end you gain, because they tend to pass on that same good treatment to your customers. Richard Branson once said something. He said that I don't care about my customers, because I know that when I treat my employees right, they will treat my customers right. So my focus is on my employees. Make sure they are okay. All the things that they need is provided for them. They are happy. If they are happy, they will show happiness to their customer. I've been to shops where you go into a shop, you are standing by a device or something you want to buy, and then people are just walking about. And someone can actually walk, oh, hello, sir. How may I help you? Say, oh, not really. I'm just window shopping, looking at this. And they will tell you, oh, a friend of mine bought one of these devices. Please don't buy this one. Don't buy it. Oh, you haven't experienced it before. Oh, no, this one, don't buy it. Sister, but your mentor, we are yet. In Crawford, you'll to be the beer, but midway, the man catch you, be a man, and make catch you. So engage with, because if they are not happy, they will run you down in ways that you will never know they are running you down. They will suck all your car. When they come, sometimes I wonder, one of the things that in Ghana generally, the only exception is 2008. I came around, I wanted to exchange my British driver's license for a Ghanaian one. I went to DVLA where they do that. The way they served me, I had a different perception of Ghana at that, because I haven't been to Ghana, I think, about 2 years or so. And I came, and it was excellent. I got there, hello, sir, how can I help you? I said, I came to exchange. All right, just sit here. Then another one came. Do we offer you Milo, hot chocolate, whatever? I was so pampered. I was like, oh my goodness, am I in Ghana? DVLA, around the ridge area. It's a premium service. Whatever it is. I was so excited. I said, oh goodness, I feel so good. And I've said this in places. Within 45 minutes, they have taken my biometrics. 45 minutes, they brought me a small brochure with my driver's license on. Oh, I was so excited. I said, where else can I get this kind of service? Am I in Ghana? But I have also been to places where when you get there, but your bra auto day. And but your more but your watch it, but your incrofo person yen in temu beto atona. Because they are not happy. You go to some of these countries where you are going to buy, they pamper you like you are their uncle's best son. And it's not, they don't know you from anywhere. You know why they are pampering you? They know you have some money in your pocket that potentially you want to spend. They want to get that money. They will do everything for you. They will call you a kind of, you are a star. Oh, my darling. Oh, what may I do for you? Oh, such a gentleman you are. Your head will be getting bigger, bigger, bigger. By the time you realize you've reached into your pocket, you've pulled the credit card. You never thought you use it. Then you swipe it. When you swipe it, they give you the, then now reality dawns on you. Say, yes, I spent money I didn't want to spend. But someone has used his or her customer service, has gotten the thing out of your pocket. Engage your team. Make them happy. When they are happy, they will let your business move forward. Quickly, because of time. How do you strengthen your business when it's in crisis? Number one, prioritize your customers. Sometimes when your business is struggling, when there is an economic downturn, I'll come to that, but be a little bit innovative. You don't have to have a sophisticated system in place. Develop a customer loyalty card. It can be a card that can be punched with just an ordinary manual puncher. Oh, sister, wait there, so baby, you must say, you are DB, you have say, Ubaha to us 10 times. The next time, Ubenya 70% free. Even if they don't need it, are they free? They will make sure within a short time they will come there 10 times. And you know, by the metrics of your business, if they come there 10 times, what 70% you are giving them may not even be 2% or 10% of your overall profit for everything you've sold. So why not? But we will sit there and then the Ghana cry thing. You sit there, people are selling. The last year when I was in Ghana, I went to China Mall on the Sprinters Road. And the kind of people that were there. And yet you hear people complaining. So those people who are lifting stuff from China Mall are in the queue waiting to pay. Where did they get the money from? Where did they get the money from? So those people, when you say Ghana, they don't even know and understand that kind of language because they are selling. So you have to find innovative ways of going out. Give your customers what they want. Without customers, you don't have a business. And customers have a specific need. If you don't give to them what it is they want, they won't come to you. Now we don't say seamstress or tailor. We say fashion designer. You sew a trousers, one is slightly longer than the other. You think the person will come again the next time? No. You even can't even align buttons. One is slightly 50 millimeters shifted to the other side. And so, and you want them to come again, and then they sew for you, and then you come and tell them, you buy your own fabric, you go to a tailor or a fashion designer to sew you a dress. You know you are size 16. Then the person make it 17 and a half. Oh, Brambachem say atadiana sukakra, tisukakra. Oh, ubenyisa ubeye kesia na wenya them. And then when you wear the dress after kesia, then you realize that you don't look the way, you don't look confident because you feel there's something wrong with it. And then eventually you are unable, you've spent money on the thing, but you are unable to use it. So treat your customers well. Make your customers a priority because they are the ones that are going to give you the money. If you realize that you have a customer service agent or advisor or whoever at your workplace or in your business who is not treating customers well, redeploy the person, give the person another job to do because their place is not there. They will drive away your customers. Without your customers, you can't get the money. You can't make the sales. You don't have revenues. You don't have, eventually won't have a business. So let your customers become your priority. Adapt to your products and services to be able to suit your customers' need. The third point is to develop a practical marketing strategy. Like I said earlier, now there are certain marketing strategies that does not work. So you realize that even for the last 10 years, books that have been written on e-commerce and all, you read them, you realize that large portions of them are obsolete because the playing field has shifted. Now people are selling stuff on Instagram, on Facebook, on Snapchat. People are doing TikTok and selling stuff on TikTok, making money. No one has in those days in the UK, you go to shops and they have brochures where they advertise stuff that they will have the next month and all those things. All of them are stopping. Gradually, you go there, they are still printing because they want to phase it out gradually. You go there, you won't find them sitting there like that and people pulling and taking them home to go and check what is coming next week, next month. No. You go there and it's just like that. A few people pick and it's gone because they realize that people will rather want to see those things advertised online on TikTok. So they advertise where they think a lot of people are spending more time. So develop a practical marketing strategy. Communicate your competitive advantage. Whatever product that you are selling, make sure you are talking about the advantage that it brings to the customer and what is unique about that product or even the career. You choose a career and someone asks you, what do you want to be? I want to be a doctor. Why do you want to be a doctor? You can't even say a thing. It means that you are not ready for it. Because that will be your competitive advantage. You are selling yourself. You should be able to say, I want to be a doctor because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least because you want to show that whatever you are doing, there is some uniqueness about it. All right. 3, the way you manage your staff. And I won't spend my time on this at all. Because one of the things that I realize, especially in Ghana, is that someone employs someone as a receptionist. In the afternoon, the person becomes a manager. The person serves the person lunch. The person is everything. What kind of business is that? So you don't understand if at some point they steal your money, or they go out and badmouth your business to the places you send them to go and buy you the food. Hey, now, sister, Nensuaba. Me madam do have you, but you zominu me mumpika crow because madam don't have me qua enya ne decora, but you faka crack over. Now, madam so grow ya one or small area and I was crowd ya den ho. I see me your reception. Our reception is where then abeto yokegari. Now it's called Gobe. They've given it a nice name too. We need to be able, if I employ them, if you need gobe in the afternoon, go and buy your gobe, come and eat it quietly. Don't employ people and give them extension of responsibilities that was not part of their job description at the time of employment. When you do that sometimes, they won't tell you because they don't want to lose their job, but they don't like it. And they will badmouth you and badmouth your business when they get every opportunity elsewhere. And you will never know. You won't understand why, oh, this customer is no longer coming. Why? Because someone within your space had said something that has demoralized them and discouraged them from coming into your business. So manage your staff very well. Treat your staff very well. If one of the things that we all learned from the pandemic is that when it hit and we were all at home, we realized that, oh, so many things that we didn't think we could do online, we were doing online. Some of us were teaching online. And even now, in the UK, a lot of universities still do the blended learning. Because some of the disadvantages that happened, that I'll tell you, I'm social media about saying, some of the universities, because they were admitting students, and because it was online, they didn't need space for the students. They admitted a lot. Now pandemic is over. Everything must go back to normal. They don't even have space to contain the students because people are at home. A lot of people are also bored. So whilst I'm home, I don't know how long this will go. Let me get onto this degree program, and they will apply and they will admit them. They will admit them. Now they have admitted more than they have space to contain. So blended learning is still there. Are people who do their lecture at home and will travel to campus to go and do their seminars or workshops. And even that sometimes some of the workshops they have to do them at home as well. And they blend it in the way that they give everyone at least some kind of experience of coming to campus. But they have admitted too much. So the point I'm making is that because of the pandemic, there were new ways that were developed in doing things that we never thought it was possible. If you realize that your staff was able to stay at home and still work effectively, think about how you can possibly blend that. If it was possible, you didn't lose any money, work was done effectively. Why not blend it? Where I work in the UK in the financial district, and that is where the campus I work on is based. You have Credit Suisse, you have HSBC, you have all the headquarters of these big financial institutions. A lot of them are empty now because they realized that our staff was working well. We haven't lost anything. Why do we have to bring them? And some of them, people are resisting to come because they are comfortable. There are people that during the pandemic, mistakenly, some people's camera will fall from their PCs and they'll pick and they realize that they are in suit and tie, but they were in boxer shorts. Because they were seated behind desk and it was just their portrait I was showing. And then their camera falls to the ground and they realize that they are just in boxer shorts and suit and tie. But people have become comfortable. And if they are working well, then why change it drastically in order to, then what is going to happen is that people are now going to look for jobs where it is online based. And there are a lot of jobs like that as well. So make sure you are doing that. Then the last thing that I'll talk about with regards to the strengthening your business is build networks. Build networks. Sometimes you realize that in an economic downturn, it can be useful to understand how other businesses are coping. If you don't get connected, you will never know what others are doing so effectively that is benefiting them. So I'll give you an example. Do you think that these airlines don't have business sense, that they join what we call the Star Alliance? And it is hundreds of airlines across the globe. They belong to that Star Alliance. So for instance, British Airways, Iberia, which is a Spanish airline, and I think I've forgotten the other one. They have a strategic alliance. KLM, Air France, Kenya Airways, they have a strategic alliance. KLM will fly on a particular day to Kenya, and they go to Kenya. On particular days, they won't go to Kenya because Kenya Airways flies. There are times that I've come to Ghana, I come with KLM, I leave with Air France. But I bought the ticket on the pages of KLM. And all that happens because they know, they share. You go to some place, an airport, you realize that these tunnels that people go through to get into the plane and out of the plane and all that, it belongs to one particular company. But because of the strategic alliance they have, they all share it and use it. And they pay each other. They share ideas that will make them stronger against common competitors. But you realize that some of us will it's difficult to have African people build business and say, oh, let's come together and do something. They will fight over money. They will fight over whose uncle built the first abrosan in their village. They will fight over things that are not even important. And because of that, you have a lot of scattered businesses without the strength it takes to withstand economic downturn. So when the wind blows, a lot of them go down. The other time I was thinking, there may be, but I don't know. I said, how many companies in Ghana? And what struck me was that I drove past a funeral home that has been around in that particular part of the UK since 1844. Funeral home, 1844. And it hit me as, so can we have even a business in Ghana that is 100 years old? I doubt. There may be, I don't know. I haven't conducted the research. So I'm only speculating. But it just hit me. Do we have anything like that? Is it possible? Why? Because everybody wants to do it alone. So that when I succeed, they'll say that I'm a big man, I'm a big woman. But you realize that businesses that collaborate, work together, you may not have to put all your capital together. You may just, strategic alliance means that maybe this is all the business we are running. We don't have very good customer service. The other business does very good customer service, or we don't have the necessary logistics to be distributed. So there's a company that has courier vans or motorcycles that can do the job. You partner with them, people buy, they take over the delivery of the product, and you enter into an agreement with them. They do it very well because they are your customers. And equally they are customers. And you share the responsibility. You make your money, they make their money. Everybody is happy, everybody goes away. Because if you probably add the planning of delivery to your business, you may not be able to deliver effectively. You may have too much on your head to be thinking about, oh, the customer says the delivery didn't arrive on time. And then you are trying to fight problems here and there and all that. But you can equal, and it's not just outsourcing, because the people must understand what you do and be equally responsible for what they are able to deliver. Let me quickly talk to you about how some companies made it through the crisis, how they did it. And I'll give you a few examples. The slides will be available. You can take advantage of them. Lego. It's not an essential. When we talk about Lego, these are these plastic blocks that they can use to build houses. And children love it. In between 2007 and 2009, they experienced profit of about 63%. They made profit of about 63%. You know how they did it? At that time, it was at the peak of the recession. They entered new markets. They went elsewhere and did business. They did it in Asia, opened new outlets in Asia, and in some parts of Europe, consolidated what they already have, their stores they have, gave customer wonderful experiences to keep their customers. Is there ECOWAS? Do you have to pay anything if you have to do business in Togo, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Nigeria? Even if you have to pay something, because of it's an economic trading bloc, I believe that it will not be like traveling to somewhere else beyond the bloc to do business. You sell in Ghana, they are not selling. Go somewhere else and do the business. Jim Rohn once said something. He said, If you are somewhere doing business and you are not succeeding, or you have a career you are not succeeding, after all, you are not a tree. Move. You are not a tree. Trees are planted, and when they are planted, they can be there for the rest of its lifespan. You are not a tree, so move. Company number 2, Groupon. I don't know whether any of you know Groupon. Groupon is a company. I used them whilst I was coming, and I will tell you what I did. What they do is that they negotiate with companies for discounts on their services or products. And then when they get a discount, they sell the discount to customers. So when I was coming, for instance, I got a parking space at Heathrow Terminal 3 that was costing £120. So I went to Groupon to see whether I can get a discount to buy. So I went to this Groupon, typed in Heathrow Terminal 3 parking. Then the cheapest I got was £124 to park from Monday 16th to Monday 23rd to pick up my car at 12 o'clock. Then how much does it cost? It was a 20% discount being sold for £6. So I paid them £6. Then they gave me the 20% voucher. Then I came onto the site of the company that is selling the space, put in the voucher discount number, and from 120, I got it for 96. So after all, I got how much? £24 off minus the 6 I paid Groupon for that coupon. And you know what they did? As far back as in 2008, even Google wanted to buy that company out for $6 billion. And you know why they succeeded even in the recession? And they didn't sell their business. They didn't allow Google to take over. You know why? Because they were helping companies to sell their products and their services, and they were helping customers to get their products and services cheaper. Can't we do something like that? It's possible. It's possible. I was telling Pastor Eric the other time, one of the things that sometimes when you live abroad, they orient you. Sales, and people be rushing. But there is no sales that a company does, the company loses money. It's not because in the economies of scale, the volumes they sell. But what they are telling you is now being sold for £16. It used to be £30. The actual price actually is even below the £16 they are giving to you for sale. So 26 December is sales day. And I think the last Friday or the first Friday of October or November, they call it Black something, I forgot it, Black Friday. And people rush, go and buy. Hey, I got the TV for 300. And sometimes when you come home and check, go onto the internet, check, go back, or you realize that the TV was 300 6 years ago. Last one, Intel. We know Intel. They deal Internet of Things. They provide PC solutions. If you buy a lot of computers, you see the sticker on it, Intel and all that. Powers, they provide the chips and all those things. They did something that was quite remarkable. What happened was that during the pandemic, no one was buying computers. Sorry, during the recession, people were not buying computers. This pandemic, because people were at home. In the UK, schools gave out free computers to students because they have to still study. So homes, children who didn't have theirs, the council provided them. You go, you collect it, they'll post it to your house so the children can get on and all that. But during 2008, Intel was not selling any computers. Their cloud services, everything was not moving. All they did was just sit tight and wait. They could have said, oh, I'm giving up, I'm folding up. And it's a lesson. When you are running a business, you are leading a business, you have a career that hits the rocks or has difficult times, difficult moments, you don't fold up and give up. They just sat quietly. Now, if you check how much sales Intel made during the pandemic, to surprise you, how much money they have made. If they folded up and they gave up because, oh, things are tight for 2 years running, 3 years running, we are not even breaking even, we are unable to pay our staff, we are unable to, what can we do? And sometimes we panic when we hit crisis. And when we fold up, we lose all the opportunities that could have accrued for us. All right, so I'll stop here. And if there are any questions, that is it. Yeah, if anyone has any question, I would answer them. I would do my best to answer them. I'm not sure I know everything, but we'll see. If I don't know, I'll tell you this one I don't know.
All right. So let's get ready for the question. So now, you made a comment about the fact that when you hire people, we shouldn't use them as messengers, buying gobe and all that. But sometimes too, you are starting a small business and probably you have a secretary or maybe a front desk person, and the person is more like a utility person. How do you manage that? Because sometimes in deliberately writing the job description, we also write that with any other job you'll be instructed to do. So let's clear that over.
Yes. So if the job description says plus any other job as required by your supervisor, team leader, manager, then it's fine. But I'm talking about situations where the person has been employed receptionist. They know that their job is receptionist. But at the same time, you also have to look at the link between the jobs that the people do. For instance, someone goes to the university, studies accounting, and then comes to do accounting as administrative accounts clerk or whatever, working. And then in the afternoon, go and buy me. Oh, boss, I haven't finished. Oh, go and buy me. I'm hungry. I said you haven't finished. When you come back, go and buy me. That is what you are asking the person to do has no correlation with the job they are supposed to. But if it's a utility person, the person knows that I'm here in the office, I do all the bits and pieces around, there's no problem. So I think that, fine, if you still need, because of the nature of the job, your responsibility, you still need someone in the office who will do some of those, then employ someone. Obviously, their salary is not going to kill you, because if you compare last year, I don't know whether you still remember, there were a few things that I taught. Like what we call, you make sure that you look at the value to what you are doing, to what you don't want to do. So for instance, if you know that your worth is 100 Ghana cedis an hour, and you know that getting up from your desk to go and spend 1 hour in the traffic to go and buy your gobe and come back, you can get someone who can do that for you every day and pay the person 10 Ghana cedis an hour. And in the month, cumulatively, you still don't lose anything. You save more time to do most essential work. Then employ someone to do that. For that particular, but you are my gobe. I'm employing you as my gobe buyer. Simple. The person knows that when it's afternoon time, that is when his job, that he will run around. But at least create some correlation with what the person does. I know there are certain offices too, there's no one to do that, but at least one person will say, oh, I'm going out to buy this. Does anyone care? And they say, oh yeah, buy me this. That is also fine. But what I mean is that don't misuse people. Because otherwise they'll bow. When they are going, oh yes sir, oh madam, but they are not happy. They'll call people on their phone. They'll bash you and destroy your business behind you. But by the time I realize, people say, oh that madam, hey, Margaret Thatcher. And they'll give you all kinds of names. And people will look at you in some way. When they come to your shop, some of them will intentionally come and annoy you. They want to see whether the Margaret Thatcher in you will come out. And all those things. Yes. They'll do all that. All right.
Please come forward and the mic is available. So let's get ready to ask the questions.
Thank you very much. It was very insightful. I wanted to find out, you said people with low self-efficacy. You didn't say they're not, we shouldn't have them. But I'm thinking that if we had them, they might be of use, like having a pessimist, for instance, in the business.
To bring a balance. All right. From an academic point of view, I would say yes. You need a good mix. You can't have people with high self-efficacy, all of them grouped together, because it can be challenging in itself. Sometimes you need one pessimist who would always be tapping on the brakes when people are running and say, no, you are going too fast. Slow down. So yes. But you also have to be very careful. It depends on the size of the team. Because, for instance, if you are building a team, you need varied people with different personalities. Because if everyone is a go-getter, no one stands at the back to support those who are moving forward. So you realize that when things go wrong, they only realize when they have reached the destination and realize that, we left this behind. We didn't do this. So sometimes it must be a good mix. But if you have a very small team, let's say you have employed just 5 people. You can't have more than 3 of them having low self-efficacy. Your business will collapse. Why? Because they will come, everything they are afraid. They will never use their initiative. Why didn't you do that? But madam, you didn't tell me to do it. But say, I don't want trouble. It's like the man in Matthew chapter 25. You won't do anything because just in case I lose it, the master says I've lost money. So let me keep it. When you come, I'll give your thing back to you, and then no trouble. So it must. So I appreciate that. There must be a good mix, but you have to be very careful how you do it. If your team is small, then it's better to have the majority of them who can actually push for the development of their business rather than to pull everything back because they don't believe in themselves and their abilities. All right. Any question? If no one asks a question, I'll ask a question. Someone wants to ask a question here. Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. So there's actually a follow-up question to what you said, that if your team is small, you need a lot of people who can give you consensus. Okay. So what if your team is small, but then they are not go-getters like you are, but then you contribute a lot of ideas because you want to be a go-getter to the team, okay? But then it becomes like a team idea because in one way or another, they joined in the meeting, they listened to you, they asked questions which inspired other contributions from you. But you realize that with the spirit that you need, they're not ready to move ahead with you to make the goal possible. So you may want to work on it on your own, right? Now, as human as we all are, although they didn't contribute much, it might look like you are using the team's idea to work with another team. So how do you manage those kinds of things? Because networks are also important. They had certain skills. That's why you had a team work with them. But now that you want to go ahead to make sure that that idea becomes very possible, and they don't want to be part, like they're dragging their feet, okay? How do you still maintain that network? It doesn't look like you have quote-unquote stolen because it's your idea, okay? But so how do you manage things like that there are no ill sentiments? You understand?
Okay. I think it depends on the context. Now, if you have a team that you put together, you put a team together for a particular purpose. If the team can't achieve it, you disband it. It's as simple as that. You can, if you have a business, you employ people to achieve a particular, and they are not doing it, why do you still keep paying people for not doing their job? Fire them and get a new set of people who can do their job. I think that, see, someone would say, but how can you fire people? And I can understand the cultural sentiments because so they say, but you are not Father Christmas. This is a business. You are running to make profit. Business exists to make profit. So if the team is not there, they are not performing, why do you still keep paying them? Because very soon you will not even have the business for them to be there for you to be pampering them. If it's a situation where you are not the employer, you are not the one who have actually put them together, but you are part of that team, and you are there because you are employed to be a part of that team, it means that you can work with them. By all means, do your best whilst you are looking somewhere else. Because there's no point being a part of a group or a team where you realize that great ideas, it doesn't get anywhere. What's the use of ideas until they are implemented? Zero. So then you have to look for a team where you can be more effective and get things done. Because that is the reason why you bring, because you acknowledge you don't have all the wisdom, you don't have all the skill, you don't have all the knowledge. But if you meet and the skills are not coming, the wisdom is not coming, the knowledge is not coming, what's the use of it? It's of no use. So in both ways, if you have been employed to be part of the team, that may not be where you need to be because you don't have those that can help you to get the job done. If you put a team together and they can't do why or what you've hired them to do, fire them. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Yes.
Hi, good evening. Thank you. I'd like to find out what you think about this. So, assuming there is a crisis in business and you have an opportunity for an investor to come and invest, and after evaluation or after the business has been valued, the investor wants to pump in the exact amount of the value, the current value of the business. Would you recommend a 50-50 partnership? Because remember, the business is in crisis and someone is bringing in money. Would you recommend a 50-50 crisis to the original business owner, or you'd still recommend that the business owner should have a higher share or ownership? I would like to know your take on that. Thank you.
Once again, that also depends on the context. So take, for instance, you running a business. All the metrics of the business is working well. You have a customer base. You have, let's say, it's a manufacturer. You have your factory is working and all that. The problem probably you have is cash injection. And someone says, I can inject cash and all that you need. Be reminded that that is not the only source where you can get cash. In that context, there are so many ways where you can raise cash for it. You can actually even borrow on an interest rate or somehow. If it is also a context where the situation is such that the problem is with the fact that your marketing is not up to scratch, and because of that you are unable to reach a wider market, that is also a problem. So you have to analyze it on the basis of the context before you determine. If it is a cash problem, and you've tried everything, you are not getting the cash, and someone comes in and says 50-50, but 50-50 on what basis? Because cash alone doesn't run a business. If cash alone runs a business, then you will not be asking them to invest. Ask them, if we do it 50-50, who has the controlling share? No one has a controlling share. So let's make it 49-51, so at least I can manage it. I'm the original visionary or the visionary of this particular idea. So just let's partner and get this done. Secondly, is the person bringing on board any expertise to turn the business around? If the person is not bringing on expertise, then it means that you have the expertise, all you need is cash. You may want to look elsewhere. Yeah, because someone just can't use cash to buy your ideas, buy your expertise, and just sit somewhere and just enjoy the fruit of your labor just because they injected cash. Because there are so many ways you can raise cash. There are so many. I have come to realize that sometimes there are a lot of people who have cash sitting somewhere, just that they haven't found the right business to pump that cash into. And they may not be there for 50-50. They may say, just give me 30% plus my initial investment. So after 2 years, we have an agreement, pay me back everything I've injected, but I still have 30% share because I rescued the business. That's it. Or if there is another way around it where you believe that based on the kind of business that you have, you can actually step back on some of the strategies in order to invest elsewhere at another time. You can say, well, I have a business, I'm selling. And in the UK, for instance, there are people who start businesses, put all the right things in place, and they put it up for sale. That is their hobby. That is their business too. They set up business and they sell it. And it's not a business that is going to fail. They have all the things in place and they sell it. They take the money, they go into another business. And eventually they may have a business that may be there where they are going to get their regular income from. But then they just set up businesses, put everything in place, they sell it. They move on, start another one, sell it. Sell it for profit. And usually when you are selling a business, it's based on the forecast of how well the business will do. It's not on the basis of the current situation of the business. So if you negotiate any business deal for investor, and an investor says that by giving you your balance sheet is so bad, your cash inflows are bad, you don't have proper cash flow, let me just put in the money you need. We do it 50-50. Be very wary about it. Because they are not investing. I mean, money can't just turn itself around. There must be fresh ideas. If the business, there may be a reason why the business is not doing well. What is the person bring? Or you should have a proposal that say that our marketing hasn't been very good. So part of this cash injection is going to go into expanding our marketing base into a new market, or maybe we are putting out a new product, a new service that will bring in or turn around the business. Other than that, I think that you have to look at the context very well before you make such a move. Because sometimes when people, it's also 50-50, they can fight with you later on. They can say, but it's equal. When the business was failing, I was the one who gave you money. You should do it this way, otherwise I'll pull back my money. By the time you realize, when you don't expect, they pull back what they put in, and you are left hanging again. So you have to understand. I know I'm moving from different positions on this, because if I get the exact context, I'll be able to give you the exact answer. But these are things to consider, because you just don't accept investment just because the business is cash strapped. All right. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, I would like to find out how we could augment ourselves from a low efficacy to a high efficacy.
All right. So self-efficacy is the belief in your own abilities. So there are so many ways by which you can even identify. And self-efficacy manifests itself in different forms. Your self-esteem, your sense of self-worth. If you go to someone's house, the chair is very dusty. Oh, wait and let me clean. Oh, this dress, I picked it up at Cantomato. Don't worry. Let me sit there. It means that you don't even value yourself. And I know that for us Ghanaians and Africans, if you go to a place, we will always say, you don't blow your trumpet. Let someone blow your trumpet. If you don't blow your trumpet, who will blow your trumpet for you? When you are a bit assertive, they say you are arrogant. When you know what you want in life, they say, oh, you know what you want, and you know what you don't want. Steve Jobs once said something. He says that my success, or the success of Apple, is down to knowing 100% what we didn't want to do, as equally as what we wanted to do. So if you are assertive, you know what you want, you know how you want to go about it. People always come across like, oh, it's very arrogant, kakra. Because arrogant, kakra. It's just because you know exactly what you want, how you want things to happen, and how you want things done. So I think that it's all down to trying as much as possible to realize your wealth, your worth. It is not down to money. Sometimes we all go to places, you meet certain people in certain places, and then all of a sudden you shrink. Because there are powerful people around, you shrink. Because maybe politically they are powerful, maybe they have more money than you do. But you are who you are, with or without money. This morning I was telling Pastor Eric, I watched this video of the president of the EU, his funeral. And from what I read, the guy manages trillions of dollars of assets. And here he was dead, wrapped in white cloth, not even two, one, lying in front of an imam or whoever it is, offering, they call it the jana or whatever, the burial prayer for the man to go and put in. He's not even going in a coffin. So there is no human being apart from God. There is no human being that you should go into their presence and feel so small, and in your mind make them so big that you feel so useless. I know it takes time to work on it, but I think you have to practice in your head. I am not a nobody. I am also a somebody. Because we all have abilities. God didn't give us, all of us, the same abilities. The only reason is that you probably haven't found yourself in a place where your ability is needed. And in this world, the more you are needed, the more important you are seen to become. So just keep on, but believe yourself. Believe in yourself. And keep on finding a way where your abilities, your gifts, and talents can be made of good use and be beneficial to people. And when they begin to appreciate you, it will gradually boost your confidence. All right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Doc, for another top-notch presentation this evening.
Thank you.
You mentioned that it's happy employees who make happy clients or customers. I want to find out how do you manage a situation where you have self-entitled, demanding employees who think that you are in your season of harvest and you must share it now. And as a result, I mean, there's so much demand. Thank you.
All right. When you employ people, you tell them how much you pay them, irrespective of how much profit the organization makes, except in their clause of employment contract. You have promised them commissions and bonuses. How much you make is none of their business. You've employed them to make money for you. If they want to make money, they should go and start their own business. It's as simple as that. They have no business. We are helping you. He's made a lot of money. Look at the cars he's driving. If you want to drive the cars he's driving, go and start your own business. You think starting a business is easy? I think that, see, these are the kind of, and I'm sorry, I have to make that comparison. This is the kind of mindset we don't have, the white man has. Or where I come from, they have it. They employ into the business. You have no business. If the business is failing, they will say you are not working well. They will appraise your responsibilities, check what is happening. They can even fire people. They can bring in new people and all that. But when the business is making money, the businesses are set up to make money, not to share it with those that helped it to make, because you have a contract of employment. What you can actually do is to probably, in the right way, say that, maybe say, madam, we've been working with you for the last 7 years. We have seen the business grow from a turnover of, let's say, 2 million Ghana cedis to 16 million Ghana cedis, and it has not been like what it was over the years. We have put in more effort. We have taken longer working hours. Some of us even don't go on annual leave, and we have brought this. We think that we deserve a raise, but not to go and demand that you should share in the profit. The person didn't. When the person was starting, he didn't have you in mind to be sharing profits with you. He set up the business to make profit for himself. It's simple. If you think that you are making so much contribution to a business, and you know the business so well that you are making money for someone, branch out and start your own business. Then you will know whether it is you, because of you, the business is doing well or not. I mean, it's as simple as that. Because you have a skill. You've decided to sell your skill with the time for the money. And that is all that you're entitled to based on what was agreed in the beginning. If the business flourishes to a certain point, and I know people who do that. During the pandemic, there is an American company, I've forgotten the name. They made so much money. They are into this tech. They made so much money. But then when the pandemic hit, people had to be laid off because things had gone slow. You know what a company owner did? He called a meeting of all staff and said that we've all worked so hard over the years to bring the business to this point. I feel bad to lay anyone off just because we have a crisis right now. I'm reducing my salary by 30%. And I've decided to reduce all the salaries. And they worked out a certain formula where they reduce all salaries across board so that everyone will stay and still be paid. If after the pandemic, things are still not working, we have to really lay people off, I'll let you know. And the reason why I heard and read about the story in The Guardian is because they succeeded. The business started picking up growth, and everybody went back to their old salaries, and they are enjoying themselves. So sometimes, I think the whole idea is that once you negotiate from the beginning, that is what you have. If you think you deserve because you are putting much effort, it's a matter of negotiation. But it's not like you are demanding, we have helped and this thing has gone. No. It was on a basis of a contract of employment. What they said they are paying you, are they paying you? Yes. Then you are not entitled for more until you are able to renegotiate your contract of employment. It's as simple as that.
Are you honest?
My question is, I think we are basing on making sure that workers treat customers very well. I'm coming from the point where your boss is rather the one not treating customers very well. So as a worker, what do you do?
And the boss is the owner of the business.
Yes.
So I think you should be able to point it out to the baby, because the other side of it is that the business is not there. You may have to start looking for a job as well, because the business will collapse. You say, boss, we've had a few complaints from some people, some of our customers, that the way you do this is the way you do that. So maybe we can understand where you are coming from if you can leave it to us for us to handle it. If the boss loves his business and wants to see the business moving forward, then they would agree. They would say, okay, all right, when it comes, handle it. Because obviously sometimes if you understand where they are coming from, maybe there are one difficult or two difficult customers at some time. Probably it's a history, or there is a history to it. So they want to deal with them themselves. And then maybe you come in, it has become a perennial thing because the customers are not changing. So the boss has also decided you also not change his attitude towards them. But then you realize that probably when those things happen, there are other customers who have come there and it demoralizes them, or made them feel that the boss is driving everyone away. So I think there is a way around it where employees have meetings with their bosses, and you tell the boss that, oh boss, these people are complaining, and because of this, and because, if you are honest, the boss will know, all right, you also have the business at heart and you want us also. And they may say, all right, when it happens, you deal with them. And I think one of the things that must also happen is that where we don't usually do here, especially when the business is small in Ghana, you have the boss sometimes dealing direct. There's an advantage to it when an owner of a company deals directly with customers and he has a very good rapport with them. It helps. But the negative side is that, like you are saying, if the attitude is not great, it can also drive them away. So in order to avoid both options, there are companies that have customer service advisors, and behind them there are escalation teams. So a customer calls or comes into the store, comes into the shop, comes to the office, there's a problem, you trash it, the customer doesn't want to understand, maybe misbehaves himself, insults people over there, does all kinds of things. Yours is that this has gone beyond your remit as a customer service. You pass it on to an escalation team, someone who is trained and has the skill to deal with escalated events, and they may be able to contain the situation. Sometimes it's just making the customer feel very important, because one of the things that I was even thinking about the other day is that how many of us do businesses and do what we call after sales service, follow up your customer and say, oh, Mr. So and so, Mrs. So and so, last month you were in our shop, you were in our store to buy this thing. We want to find out how you still feel about the products you bought. Is everything okay with it? And let them say, oh, that thing that we bought, in fact, it was rubbish. In fact, the thing is even broken. You may feel hurt, but that is a direct feedback there. It's probably to reconsider where you source the product from. If it's a great product, oh, we haven't had any problem with it at all. Then you tell them, oh, thank you very much, I'm very happy to hear. But in case you have to come again, you are guaranteed 10% discount. I can bet you the person will come again. So I think it's all down to customer service and how sometimes we have to find very innovative ways of going around some of these things in order to make our customers feel very important, especially if you have customers who are loyal, or you have a repeat customer, someone who buys once, comes again. But even there is a way that you can make them come again and come again and come again. Like I said, find some loyalty card. You know, if you come here 10 times, you buy to the tune of this, we give you this for free. And you know that which you are giving for free won't take anything out of your profit, just to keep your customers very excited and happy. Or we will arrange delivery for you for free. Or we'll call a taxi for you, we'll pay for it, it will take you to your house with the things. It won't take anything away from you to make them feel that really you are appreciating their custom. All right. Thank you.
Somebody, let's give a big hand clap. Wow. This good stuff. Amen. All right. And I want to thank Dr. Bernard for this depth of information and the depth of knowledge. And like I said, most of them do one-on-one coaching for a fee. It's not just you, so you can get his details and do that. These air conditions are cold. Why? I said come and put on the air conditioner. Everybody's complaining. talking, nobody even cares about it. There are two thoughts that I've kept. The first one, and I'm going to throw it out there. Anybody who is into IT should look at that. The first one was that when Dedo was speaking last week, she made mention that we don't have something like a yellow page site in Ghana. I don't know if you remember the yellow page. The yellow page. You know that where you go and look for items. And it should be electronic. Then the next thing that Dr. Bernard also said is that about this discount thing, where there's a whole company, you just shut them off. You close right now, shut all of them off. Just shut them off. Where we could have a company that works out discounts for people. And for me, these are very, very good ideas. I am not an IT person, but maybe I may have to go into it. Because because if I can, you can just not Google, but Ghana something GH, search GH, pack. Every shop, all the products that you need, towels, all the shops will show. Hair, all the shops will show. Then you contact them. Then now you can even arrange a delivery system. They pay to you, you take your discount, they deliver to your doorstep. Am I speaking to somebody here? So there's a lot of ideas that have been dropped. We want to really thank God for Dr. Bernard. We have here Pastor Emmett. His church is 1 year. It was I passed through their church on Sunday, doing very well. We have Pastor Ben and Pastor Nat. All right, so we want to take our offering, and let's allow Dr. Bernard to go into that. But Friday, Dr. Bernard is running a church workers meeting for us, and it is in person, not online. I see a lot of people online. Church workers training, come in person. Please, let's do that. So let's give our offering, and we'll be out of here. And thanks for coming. And for those who are watching online, we want to see you on Friday as a church worker. Remember that Sunday, our conference kicks on. This very seminar series has been very, very informative, very depth, very deep, and it's very, very key. What I really liked was how to build your own personal resilience in the place of crisis, and how you should build system. And like I was saying, there's a lot of businesses that we have to start doing networking, where somebody is building a house. You have so many people working together. There was a story I heard about an Igbo man. If an Igbo here, it's a good credit. So you go to a Igbo man's place, you are going to guide, you go into the shop, say you are buying television. He hasn't got television, so you come, I'm going to my next shop. So now he goes to the next shop, which doesn't belong to the next shop, which doesn't belong to him. And goes to his friend and says, I've got somebody who wants to buy television. So I'm bringing the person to your shop to buy the television. So the person now comes. Then when he comes, Emeka, how are you? Sell the thing. As if he owns the shop. And after they have gone, he say, okay, give me my percentage. At the end of the day, he's made some money for himself for that day. And I think that we must begin to work out. That's how come even in ministry, is not only one pastor. Every genuine pastor has a network of friends, which brings other information and knowledge to do. So business, don't say that I want to do business all alone. I want to succeed all alone. I want to become, no. There are several things you can do together with other people. And the other thing is that put legal framework, be honest with each other. Period. Be honest with each other. Don't shortchange people. That's how come we don't have businesses lasting for a long time. Because people are finding out how they can make so much. If I can break even on every product or anything I produce, but I can have it about 5 or 10 times in a month than having it one time in 3 months. Which one do you like? 10 times in a month. And you realize that your office or your business will be running so strongly. Your place will be very, very busy because you are making very small profits. However, you are maintaining relationship. Amen? Very, very important. Let's rise on our feet. And let's share the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now forever. Amen. God bless you. Let's see you on Sunday.
Anything I'm going to do after empower, you are not going to do it by your energy. It's going to be by the strength of Jehovah. It's going to be by the power of the Almighty God. Am I talking to a believer?
You will never be a laborer for anybody here in Ghana. I decree that you are entrepreneur. You will have your own business. I'm not talking to a believer here. My God, you will have your own business and you shall hire other people to work for you. I declare and decree and speak.
There may be a storm against your business, but I see your business rise again. There may be a storm against your career. You may have been retrenched, but God is about to give you another chance and you shall rise.